Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta
Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta
Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta
Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
We're continuing to read from the Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Antya-līlā, chapter 7, text 87. The title of the chapter is Lord Chaitanya meets Balabhavata. Artha mātra jāniye nirdhāra Artha mātra jāniye nirdhāra Ora sarva-arthe mora nāhi adhikāra Artha mātra jāniye nirdhāra Ora sarva-arthe mora nāhi adhikāra mātra jāniye nirdhāra Ora sarva-arthe mora nāhi adhikāra. This meaning. Ami, I. Mātra, only. Jāniye, no. Nirdhāra, conclusion. Or, other. Sarva, all. Arthe, meanings. Mora, mine. Nāhi, is not. Adhikāra, capacity to understand. Translation. I conclusively know these two names, Śyāmasundara and Yaśodānandana. I do not understand any other meaning, nor have I the capacity to understand them. So just to provide a little context to this verse, here Vallabhabhata, a learned scholar, has come to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. He met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before, and in Prayag, that is where nowadays Allahabad, and it's a place where the three rivers, the Ganga, the Yamuna, and the Saraswati come together, a place of pilgrimage, a place where every year the Kumbh Mela takes place. So, and every 12 years it's really big, millions and millions of people. And so in that holy place, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it was very pleasant at the time. So therefore, Vallabhabhata was very inspired, and he came. And he was a great, cultured Vaishnava and Brahmana, but there was also some pride. And he was particularly proud of his scholarship. And so he wanted to present various explanations of to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And there were discussions about a commentary on the Bhagavatam, and now he is speaking that he also has given an explanation of the holy name. See, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, when Vallabhabhata said, I wrote this commentary on the Bhagavatam and I want you to hear, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I do not understand the meaning of the Bhagavatam. I'm not a suitable person to hear the meaning. I simply sit and try to chant the holy name of Krishna, and though I'll chant all day and night, I nevertheless cannot complete the chanting of my prescribed number of rounds. So then Vallabhabhata said, I've tried to describe elaborately the meaning of Krishna's holy name. Kindly hear the explanation. Lord Chaitanya, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I do not accept many different meanings for the holy name of Krishna. I know only that Krishna is Śyāmasundara and Yaśodānandana. That's all I know. The only purport of the holy name of Krishna is that he's dark blue like a tamal tree, and he's the son of Mother Yasoda. This is the conclusion of all revealed scriptures. I conclusively know these two names, Śyāmasundara and Yaśodānandana. I do not understand any other meanings, nor have I the capacity to understand them. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya took the position of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is by nature anchored in humility, is by nature anchored in thinking that I'm depending on mercy. I am made of mercy alone, basically. Whatever spiritual attributes I have, these are not my own. These are gifts that I somehow or other got in my life, although I was not deserving. And so in this way, a Vaishnava is approaching. As far as the holy name is Krishna, and nothing else. It's just the holy name is Krishna. So that's why Lord Chaitanya said, I just know the holy name is Śyāmasundara, the Krishna who is dark, dark as a rain cloud, Shyam, and Yaśodānandana, the son of Yasoda, like that. That is all I know. And let Krishna himself, let him just reveal himself, rather than trying to analytically come out with so many different meanings of the holy name. I was once in India, and I gave a talk somewhere in a university, and then there was a man, a cultured-looking man, elderly, very fair, who started to breathe very strongly at the end of my lecture. So I knew he's going to say something. And sure enough, and then he says, you spoke about the Krish Dhatu, Ka for Kala, Ra for Rukta, Sa for Sukla, Triyugi Naraya. Now, scholarly, absolutely, Ka for Kala, Ra for Rukta, Sa for Sukla. And in this way, he was looking at the three incarnations of the Lord that appear in three yugas. And I said to him, thank you very much for your explanation. And it is certainly correct because Krishna is avatari, is the source of all the avatars. However, our Vaishnava acharyas give another explanation of the name of Krishna, and they explain that the Krish Dhatu, or the root of the word Krish, is coming from akarsan, which means to attract, or to be all attractive, and na comes from anand, and to provide complete happiness. And he's saying, this is even more wonderful, right? Like this. And he said that, this explanation is better than mine, better. Later I found out he was the head of a Sanskrit college, and and I'm just a village pumpkin from Holland. And I mean, what do I know, right? When it comes to Sanskrit, really, I mean, every time I try to get into Sanskrit, if there's a scholar around, they tell me, never do that again. I gave a talk here once, and Garuda, told me. I gave an explanation, and he said, never do that again. I guess I'm not a Sanskrit scholar. What to do? A village pumpkin from Holland. But I can repeat. I can simply repeat just whatever the Acharya said. That I can do. And in that way, yes, I can give an explanation, but not my own explanation. But the world jugglery of different scholars who are trying to explain the Sanskrit word according to Sanskrit grammar in various ways is just never ending. Never ending. Nāhi raksati dukrim karade. It never ends. They just carry on and on and on, explaining this way, that way, because Sanskrit is a language where words, there are compound words made of combinations, like Krishna is a compound word, it's a combination of two syllables. Then you can draw out all kinds of meanings, just like the word Bhagavan, Bhagava, we can draw out different meanings from these words, and one can spend all his days doing so. Of course, the meaning of Bhagavan, which I particularly like, is an explanation of Jiva Goswami, which is Bhajaniya Guna Visista, which is that the name of Krishna, or Krishna himself, is so attractive, he is irresistible. You have to worship him. Irresistible. That's what it means, all attractive. Anyway, so Vallabhacharya was too much interested in drawing out meanings of text, and he was not sufficiently absorbed in the real meaning of the chanting of the holy name, which is simply to glorify. The heart of a Vaishnava is not only filled with humility, not only filled with tolerance, not only rooted in Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sehistuna Manina Madadina Kirtanya Sadhari, not only rooted in humility and tolerance, but the very core of a Vaishnava's existence is glorification, is the constant glorification, the glorification of Krishna, the glorification of Krishna's devotees, the glorification of the tadiya, of all the things related to Krishna. Ganga, Yamuna, Tulasi, all tadiya, all things related to Krishna. And all these things we can glorify. And just spend our times describing the glories. And then in the course of that, yes, so many meanings may come and so many insights may come, but in the spirit of glorification. Whereas Gopala Bhatta was too much concerned with jnana, too much concerned with, his bhakti was jnana misra bhakti. It was mixed with jnana, mixed with a desire to philosophically analyze and so on, which is secondary to glorification. The glorification, yes, tattva must be there, or the proper understanding, because without tattva, glorification is incomplete. In Vrindavan, the neighbors of our temple are chanting a mantra which starts with Nitai Gaur and even says Radhadesh, right? And that mantra, I will not pronounce that mantra. I try to forget that mantra because they have a loudspeaker and they just blast it out and you just hear it, you know. But Srila Prabhupada had a solution to it because he clearly also heard it, right? And Prabhupada said, yes, Nitai Gaur Radhesham Jai Krishna Balaram, which are the deities in our Vrindavan temple. So in this way, Prabhupada got around it. But this particular mantra was understood to be the last words of Charandas Babaji, who with that was supposed to sum up the essence of spiritual life in a mantra, his last gift to the world. And they faithfully chant, and they chant the names of Nitai Gaur. And they think that Nitai Gaur are Radhesham. That's it. They think Lord Chaitanya is Śyāmasundara and Nityananda represents Radharani. Now that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. That's sort of missing the target, sort of being a few miles off or a few lifetimes lost in the woods. Because Nitai Hala Balaram, Balaram Hala Nitai, he is Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda, and Lord Chaitanya is himself Radha and Krishna. That's the Vaishnava understanding. So, no, you need a chair. Chair has come. His chair has come. So in this way, we can appreciate that when the tattva is wrong, you can chant with a lot of devotion, Nitai Gaur, but if you don't understand who Nitai Gaur are, then it can, there is benefit, but the full benefit cannot manifest. So in that way, proper understanding of what the holy name means is certainly important. And that is there. But Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu made it very clear. Not only is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the essence is that he is becoming the son of Nanda and Yasoda. He is Yasodanandana. that is more than just being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That speaks about the relationship that Krishna has with his devotees. And he is Śyāmasundara. He is unlimitedly beautiful and has a darkish complexion like a rain cloud. I'll carry on with the text. Being omniscient, Lord Śrī Caitanya could understand that Vallabhabhata's explanation of Krishna's name and Srimad Bhagavatam were useless, therefore he did not care about them. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu rigidly declined to hear his explanations, Vallabhabhata went home feeling morose. His faith in the Lord and devotion to him changed. That is also interesting. That is very interesting. How his faith and devotion changed. So his faith and devotion was mixed with personal desire. He wanted recognition. That was very clear. And because the great Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great and famous Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who everyone was worshipping him. Ah yes, he's very close to me. Yes, I know him very well. Yes, I met him. I met him in Prayag, actually. Yes. And we had a very intimate discussion. Deep and very intimate. Yes. We can see the mentality, but we also know the mentality in ourselves. Oh yes. Oh yes, I know him very well. Yes. I'm very close to him. Right? That tendency is also there. And in this way, using our connection with a great personality to elevate ourselves. So we can see that Vallabhabhata had that tendency, and now he wasn't getting that recognition. And therefore, suddenly in the beginning of the chapter, we find all these descriptions, how Vallabhabhata is coming, and Vallabhabhata is very humble, and Vallabhabhata is glorifying, and Vallabhabhata is speaking all these verses in glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He even calls him the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Later he defines that more and says Shakti Avesh Avatar, which is not correct. And so he actually minimized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he made him a Shakti Avesh Avatar. His understanding of who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was incomplete. He thought he was a jiva who was empowered by special mercy of the Lord. He didn't understand that he was Krishna's Bhagavan Swayam, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But so in the beginning of the chapter, it looks as if his glorification is really, really nice. And the reader who might be half asleep might be reading it, oh, this is so nice. Right? The reader who may not catch what's being said to you, oh, he says he's the Supreme Lord, very good. Yes, but Shakti Avesh Avatar, but that is not the same as Govindam Adipurusham, as the original Lord. Dipachire Vidasantra Pecha Dipayate Vivritehem Samana Dharma Yastadikevicha Vishnu Tera Vibhati Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. How from one Dipa, from one light, we can light so many others. From one candle, we can light so many other candles. So from the original Supreme Lord, so many manifestations are there. But Rupa Goswami gets into this. Rupa Goswami writes in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita about all the incarnations of the Lord. And he begins to describe all different avatars and that appear at different points in times, and it's a very interesting book and not too big and something one can actually read without spending too much time, and I can recommend reading it. It's interesting. But then he describes in that book how amongst the incarnations of the Lord, there are 3 incarnations that are especially important. And they are Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Krishna. Because these 3 incarnations are Sadha-aishwarya-purna. They have all the 6 opulences. They have all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all renunciation, all fame. Which one did I miss? Beauty. Beauty, yeah? Oh, I missed beauty, yes. So, they have all the beauty as well. So they have all these 6 opulences, but then it says in Lord Nrsimhadev, it is especially the power of the Lord which is manifesting, and there's less sweetness. Yeah? Whereas in Lord Ramachandra, there is more sweetness. So, but then in Krishna, there is most sweetness. So in all these 3, they're all Sadha-aishwarya-purna. They're all 3 manifestations, have all the opulences of the Lord. But in Krishna, this opulence is manifest with more sweetness, which puts Krishna in the superior position. So we see all the various avatars and incarnations of the Lord. They find their origin in Krishna, but with each avatar, there is a little less of Krishna's full opulences manifest. Then in these 3 that I mentioned, from Lord Krishna, Ramachandra to Nrsimha, gradually less sweetness. Still the 6 full opulences. Then in all the other avatars, the 6 opulences are not manifest in full, and they have a particular quality. Like I said, Lord Vamana, he is representing the beauty of the Lord, like that. He's like and Mohini also. That is representing the beauty of the Lord, but not all the features in full. So we see how as from the original light, so many lights are lit, that the original light is just having a bit more strength. That is basically the conclusion from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So that is very important. So when Bhagavata is thinking that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Shakti Avesh avatar, then he has minimized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's actually, so actually he has not glorified him. He's actually done the opposite. Because the tattva is not correct. And we see that therefore his faith and devotion was mixed with personal motive, and therefore it diminished. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was now not encouraging him, now not kind to him, then his faith went down. So that is interesting. Very interesting how we can recognize the same in us. These tendencies are deep, and we also, when we get recognized and for our surrender, then we feel so inspired. And then, but sometimes it may be the other way around. Now that you're sitting in front of me, I remember your Sankirtan story, how you met this person who was saying, "Oh, I'm so happy to meet someone who's doing the greatest welfare work, who's out on the street and doing actually the greatest work, you know, for the good of mankind." And then a little later, someone else, the same day, another person also. Oh, you know, so you're doing such wonderful work, and mind goes, here we go again, here we go again. And then in the end, someone came, and that person said,
"You're my worst nightmare."
You're my worst nightmare. You can see Krishna, you know. That's very interesting. Krishna, how he works. First makes us a little proud, and then Bang. I got this, someone gave me a hoodie, you know, and it wasn't an ISKCON hoodie, this is from a shop, and it said BBT Sports. See, I'm a preacher, Lord Chaitanya is sending me this hoodie. Next thing I get a hat, and there's a label on it that says, the big universe, you know. And I'm walking around like, you know, like delivering Sankirtan devotee, delivering the whole universe and so on. And then I put the head in the pocket of that sweatshirt, that hoodie, and I left it somewhere. Then I got a new hoodie and it said INQ, is not qualified. And that hoodie, I couldn't get rid of it. I had it for 10 years and it wouldn't wear out. Nothing. It's just, it wouldn't wear out. It was like almost spiritual. It just did. It wouldn't break. So that is just, we see Krishna, Krishna in our life. But Vallabhabhata had difficulty with this. He went home feeling morose. His faith in the Lord and his devotion in Him changed because he didn't get recognition. So now his pride was getting in the way. So this is something, when we recognize these tendencies in us, then we have to work on ourselves. Thereafter, Vallabhabhata went to the home of Gadadhar Pandit. He kept coming and going, showing affection in various ways, and thus maintained a relationship with him. Because Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu did not take Vallabhabhata very seriously, none of the people in Jagannath Puri would hear any of his explanations. Ashamed, insulted, and unhappy, Vallabhabhata went to Gadadhar Pandit. Approaching him with great humility, Vallabhabhata said, I've taken shelter of you, my dear sir. Kindly be merciful to me and save my life. Please hear my explanation of the meaning of Lord Krishna's name in this way. In that way, the mud of the shame that has come upon me will be washed off. Thus, Pandit Gosai fell into a dilemma. He was in such doubt that he could not decide alone what to do. Purport. Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu did not take Vallabhabhata very seriously. Therefore, Pandit Gosai, or Gadadhar Pandit, fell into perplexity. What would be his position if he heard Vallabhabhata's explanation of Sri Krishna's name? Certainly, Śrī Caitanya-Mahaprabhu would be displeased. Therefore, Gadadhar Pandit Gosai could not make a decision. Gadadhar Pandit, his nature was very submissive and very gentle. That kind of a person who, you know, very devotional and very gentle. So here comes this strong Vallabhabhata, who is scholarly and so on. He comes before him, and Gadadhar just like, what would he do? He was just being overpowered by this personality. He was just nothing he could do, and he stood there as he said, now what am I going to do? And it is explained as we go through the chapter, and I will not say it now, but as one goes, as they go to the chapter later on, Gadadhar is thinking that Lord Chaitanya will understand, right? Because he knows my heart. So he knows that I really don't want to hear this, but that I'm being forced here. He's forcing me. Yeah? And because Gadadhar could not just, having that submissive nature, he could not just walk away. If you look at Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is famous for two things. One is always reciting Bhagavatam, and the other thing he is famous for is that whenever anybody said anything critical, anything, he was gone. He was already gone immediately. As soon as someone started. And there he was, walking away. So, but Gadadhar couldn't do that. that, because he had a different nature. So we all have different natures, and this is also very interesting, that it's not one path that we should all just follow. We should also consider natures. What works for one doesn't work for another. Of course, we all chant Hare Krishna, but that's for sure. But not everyone can do it in the same way. Some people, they chant Hare Krishna with a cloth over their head. That doesn't work for me. Right? And so on. And I've had lengthy discussions with Satchidananda Swami about chanting and sitting down. And Maharaj really stressed it that Kadamba Kanana Swami, we should sit down when we are chanting, because then we can really become absorbed. And I said, well, Satchidananda Swami, when I'm walking, I also get really absorbed. Right? I'm walking up and down, and I get really absorbed. And when I sit, I get a bit lethargic, right? And then I get absorbed in other things. So, and the walking doesn't distract me at all. It doesn't. I tried different things to convince him. I said, Srila Prabhupada used to walk, Srila Bhakti, Satchidananda Swami. I told him, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, he also used to walk. He also used to sit like this. He said, yes, that is true. But still, and it just goes on and on, Yes, that's the thing about it, And Srinivasacharya sitting and on Ekadasi and chanting all night with his sika tied with a string to the ceiling. Yes, the Gorak Surdas Babaji putting a pack of clay with a cloth, tying a pack of clay on his head, just in case. So these acharyas, they were sitting and they were quite determined to somehow or other do. I don't know. I don't have much of a sika. I don't know if it would go very well tying it to the ceiling with a string. Could try, but not so attracted to that either. It's maybe not my thing. So, walking works. I tried all kinds of things. Anyway, walking, Nam Namakari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Sakstis, Tatarpitani, Amatas, Varanina, Kade, Tadrisita, Bakipa, Bhagavan Mamaki, Dudaiva, Nidrisan, Yajina, Naguraka. There are no hard and fast rules. Whether we walk, whether we sit, whether we chant in a kirtan very slowly, or whether it is wild, all that, it's the holy name. It's the name, that is the essence. All has its time and place. So, but the point is to just take shelter. Take shelter of glorification. And as we take shelter of glorification, naturally we also take it that we learn. Each time we glorify someone and we do it genuinely, we also learn something. We learn something from that person. We absorb some qualities from that person. Therefore, the glorification is the key. And that is the heart of the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is always chanting, is always glorifying. And as he's glorifying, he's also glorifying the qualities. So, obviously, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he says, I only know, I don't know any meaning of the name, and I only know Yaśodānandana and Śyāmasundara, then now we can take that in a fundamentalistic way, and now we can say, the holy name only means Yaśodānandana and Śyāmasundara.